Hi, Zuzu.
Hey, Miss Abby.
I'm happy you're here. I would say welcome to my podcast, but I know you call it a podcast.
Yes, we do. Thank you for acknowledging that. It's all about the badge, you
I
know?
know. I love that. So why don't we talk about how did you decide to start calling them podcasts?
Because it's all about the body. So
Yeah.
I've been on, I did a radio show and I've done all these different things over the last 20 years. And then Amy and my daughter Amy, so she grew up what she thought was in public health. That's what we do, right? So we had seminars all over the state, all over the Midwest, big expos. I worked with all these medical doctors and regular, and then all the naturopaths, and we were a huge part of the community. And so when she got older, she's like, I'm going to go into public health. I'm like, oh, I don't think Mom, it's what we've been doing. I'm like, oh, I don't think so. Anyhow, so she actually, got her undergraduate and then got her master's, and she had her master's from Johns Hopkins. So it's really funny because she grew up in this world. She knows this world. And then she kind of went into that world and it was just a little crazy. But then we got together. Obviously, she works with us and we call them podcasts because it's all about the body. So that's what
I
we started
love
doing.
it. I love it. Okay, so where I know that some of this started from your own healing, yes? Healing your own
Yeah.
body. So give us the before and after. What happened first? What was going on? And how did you eventually move into healing yourself?
That's awesome. So I started having seizures when I was younger. And then by the time I'm in high school, I'm on three medications. And I get out of high school and go to college, and I'm like, on medications. And they have side effects, obviously, as all medications do, 100% of them, by the way. And when I got into, I got out of college and I was going to get married, I don't want to be on all this medication and have a baby. And I want to have a big family, right? And so I just started like studying about seizures and the synapse. And there was no World Wide Web at that point, and definitely no chat TTP or whatever they all do. Even though please don't please, whatever you do, do not believe everything you're Googling or chatting or Grok or anything, please, especially about natural medicine. But anyhow, so I just read a lot of books and I started getting a lot more B vitamins in my body, and a lot of healthy oils. And I really went down this path of really focusing on the neurotransmitters of the body and was able to, um, you know, get rid of all my medications. I just started titrating off of all of them, and I haven't had a seizure or an aura since, which has been amazing because that was a big thing. And then, I had a bad back, and I went and finally and had an X-ray after I'd had I don't know how many children, and I had scoliosis. And I always knew something was off because I would hurt my back when I would do weightlifting and whatnot. But I actually spent 18 months and completely redid my spine. So the scoliosis is gone. We have before
Okay,
and after.
let's break that down. What did you do to heal your spine? I feel like back trouble, everyone I know is going to be excited to
Oh,
listen to this part of the podcast.
okay, good. Then let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just noticed my pretty lights behind me aren't on. You're just going to have to suffer with that. But
Oh,
anyhow,
you look great. We can
okay,
see
thanks.
you. Yeah.
Okay. So the spine is absolutely one of my favorite parts of the body. Now, if you listen to me talk enough, you'll say I say that about everything.
Sure.
But listen, like your spine, it's it because you have this 3 to 4 pound brain that's like an electrical ball of lightning all the time. It's just literally an electric box, like your breaker box, and that's sitting on a 2 ounce atlas, like 2 ounces, like nothing, right? And so that brain is sitting on and cradled into that little atlas, and then you have the spinal column. So you have your vertebrae, you have all the connective tissue, and you have 31 sets of nerves that are supposed to go through the atlas and come down the spinal column and then shoot out to all the different organs, glands of the body. This is absolutely the number one thing I have told my clients for the last 20 some years is we must get subluxations taken care of. So we'll talk about the scoliosis in a minute, but just understanding how important it is that every one of your listeners or readers or watchers or anybody that we contact a chiropractor. And this is why I know you're not going to die going to a chiropractor. A chiropractor is able to get rid of subluxations. When we have a pinch in the spine, the nerve going to the pancreas or the prostate or the buttocks or the whatever, any part of your body, and that's pinched, we can't communicate. And this is my favorite study that I read when I was becoming a practitioner was actually on chiropsy. These chiropractors took a bunch of bodies, like 6 of them, and they said, do not tell us why they died. We're going to autopsy this and tell you why they died. And they literally peeled back the body to the nerves. And 100% of the time they were accurate. This person died because of a spleen rupture, and the spleen lost communication with the brain 7 years ago. And they're like, oh my gosh, he was in an accident, like every single time, because the nerves are that important. So for me, getting people aware of their spinal column and then, of course, the meridians with acupuncture, the most important thing you can do for the rest of your life. And you can go once a month to an acupuncturist, once a month to a chiropractor, but that chiropractor is going to keep those subluxations clear. So when
Let
you
me
have
tell
scoliosis,
you, can I
oh,
add one quick, and then we're gonna go back to scoliosis.
yeah.
I'm very scared. I'm very into acupuncture and alternative medicine and holistic medicine and all the things. I am very scared of chiropractors. I
Oh,
hate the cracking. I hate it all.
mhm.
Is it still valuable to go and not get cracked?
Yes.
And do you prefer a crack? Like, are you like, yeah, you need the crack? Like, what's your take on it?
It depends. So you will find a lot of chiropractors that don't crack,
Mm.
that just do manual, they do manipulation with activators, they use a bed. So you can find the chiropractor that suits you. There is a time and a place for cracking, but there's a couple things that go along with chiropractic care, like massage and moving the myofascia. So if you were to get a massage and then go and get an adjustment, a world of difference. And this
Hmm.
is why. If you remember, if you think about it, and you have the spinal column, all of the bones in all of your bones, all of your muscles, all of your cells are covered with fascia. And fascia is that white stuff on a chicken when you're pulling apart a chicken, right? We all have it, but fascia is what actually keeps our body stacked and in place. If we can go to a masseuse or get a massage or even have your sweetie, rub on the back and the body a bit before you go into a chiropractic visit, it's going to loosen that myofascia and the massage, so the body and the muscles, so the body can accept that adjustment far, far better. People who don't do yoga or stretching or massage are usually a bit tighter, and then it'll never be scary. They like won't hurt you. The chance of you getting falling out of a plane is far greater than a chiropractic problem, but it'll feel much better and you won't be afraid of it so much. The one I don't like the neck. I need to have the neck. I know that. And so he's so good though. He loves me so much. So he'll activate it and they go, boop, so he works with me, and you'll find your own chiropractor to do that. My chiropractor, he's amazing. He actually, if you go for a massage, he does the adjustment for free. Like it's just crazy.
At
So
his, like, you do the massage at his place or
yeah.
anywhere?
Yeah, no,
Wow.
at his place. So you go to one of his massage artists, you pop out, and he'll do the adjustment because it only takes a minute. Like it's so quick.
But this is
Uh,
what I don't get. How come it's not like standardized that everyone should have a massage before an adjustment?
I don't know. I don't know. But most people don't even know what myofascia is and that they're
Right.
a bag of fascia. But why isn't acupuncture standardized? It is the number one.
True.
It's the number one way to get rid of PTSD. You can stop smoking in one visit. You can stop any addiction in 1 to 2 visits. We do it in our clinic. We see it all the time. Prolapse uterus. Like there's so much about traditional Chinese medicine that people aren't aware of because they're not educated, because there's no funding for it. You and I
I
both know
know.
that. There's no funding for this. And so it does come out of pocket, but man, you're going to live longer. I have the saying, I say it on a lot of my podcasts: a healthy man has many wishes, a sick man has one. So like,
Right.
amen, right?
Right. That's so
Yeah.
true. Okay, so you healed yourself. You said you're in the Midwest. Remind me where you are. Or where
I
did you grow
was.
up?
Yep. I grew up in a rural town in Wisconsin
That's
called
what I
Wind
thought.
Lake. Yeah, it was
Okay.
Wind Lake, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And so I grew up there, no stoplights or anything. It was just great. Loved it, loved it. All my best friends lived around the lake. They were all guys because there were only two girls, Dawn and Tina. But it was super fun. That's where I grew up, and I went to school in Muskego, and then I went to college, and now I'm in
I went to
Georgia.
Madison, by the way, so I'm pretty
Ah,
Wisconsin knowledgeable.
Madtown. Abby
Yes.
came from Madtown.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So ultimately, this developed into your life's
Yeah.
work. Okay. How did that happen? When were you like, this is definitely what I want to do with everything? And tell me how many children you do have, because you said Amy works with you, but that you said something about multiple children. So tell me how your family happened.
Okay, sure. So I gave birth to my first child, and I was not on any medication.
Crazy lady.
I know
But I
it was
know
so
there's lots of them out there. I know.
yeah, it was great. So I gave birth and had my baby, and then they wanted to her eye ducts were clogged, and so we had to actually take her in for surgery for that. And then the doctor said this, and this changed my life. He's like, "We're just going to put tubes in the ear because we know she'll need them." And I was like, oh no, you're not putting tubes in her ear. And she's like, they're like, but she's going to get ear infections and this will prevent. I'm like, mm-mm. And I took her home after the surgery to open up her eye duct, her tear ducts. And I was like, Then she did eventually, whatever year, 2 years old or so, get an ear infection. I was like, mm-mm. I got introduced to homeopathy and that was it. And so I gave birth to 5 children. And then I got married and he had 3 children. So we had 8 children. Then we had 2 more together. Then we adopted a daughter. And then one of my students, I'm actually, she was just, it was a very, very interesting and lovely relationship. But she started interviewing me like every month. She'd call me with the weirdest questions and God kept saying answer. I'm like, but she's asking about money and business and religion, like all these things you don't share, right? And every single time she'd call, Dad was like, pick that up and tell her whatever she needs to hear. I'm like, okay. And then in December, several years ago now, she passed away. And I heard about it. And immediately the spirit said to me, she was interviewing you so you could have her daughter. And I reached out to her daughter, and she's been with us ever since. She's been part of our family. So we actually have 12. And it's been a great journey. It's been a lot, but it's been wonderful. And so raising the children, I started, grinding my own wheat and baking my own bread and making, beans and weird things and green drinks and like, all of that. And the kids were so healthy all the time. Like I pulled the kids out of, school for healthy days and play days and shopping days. And so it was wonderful. We did have, my youngest daughter, our youngest daughter she had a unrecognizable and undiagnosable disease. She was bedridden for about 4.5 years. And we actually did figure that out. And when we finally figured it, and we spent hundreds of thousands. We went all over the country, outside the country. But we were able to figure out what it was, dysautonomia. And then I wrote a book on how to treat dysautonomia. It's free.
What is dysautonomia?
Exactly. It's a death sentence according to the 1800s. And I was like,
Yes.
no, honey, I teach this for a living. I have an online school of natural medicine and she ain't dying. But dysautonomia is actually a disease of the autonomic nervous system where everything in the autonomic nervous system doesn't function. So I'm sure you've heard of EDS and POTS. Those are two variables of dysautonomia. But dysautonomia is strictly the autonomic nervous system. Everything that happens without you thinking about it, your respiratory, digestion. So she would just stop breathing. She would stop swallowing. She couldn't process any food through her stomach. It would just stop work. It literally would not empty. So I can't even, I listed all the testing and scans that we did. It's all in the book, because a lot of people don't know, like, where do I start? Do I do a gastric emptying study? And I actually created studies and went to the medical doctors and like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to do an ultrasound right before she eats and one every 15 minutes during that. We really nailed into what was going on with her body. And guess what, Abby? There are days we took her twice in a day to an acupuncturist, but guess what changed her life and saved her life? It was acupuncture. Because acupuncture is the main thing with the autonomic nervous system. We had to do other things besides that because she had to go to the bathroom so often and she couldn't always control that. So when she had to go to the bathroom, boom, you had to be somewhere at a bathroom. So for maybe a year and a half, she couldn't do acupuncture. But when I figured out exactly what it was, we made drastic changes and she would be there with needles until she had to get up. And we just kept doing that. And she's a very functional, happy, beautiful, stunning, got married, has a wonderful husband. She's a florist.
Incredible.
It's been a really interesting journey of reversing issues. And I think it's because then I've been able to help so many people. Oh gosh, so many people. Like,
Yeah.
don't ever take a death sentence. Don't even take a sentence. Like, learn how the body works because you really are in charge of your body. It's
Yeah.
an amazing gift.
Do you find places where, for lack of a better word, Eastern versus Western, right? It's not all Eastern and all Western, but like, do you find places where they overlap? And are there places that you trust Western medicine? And what are those places?
Yeah, I relied on Western medicine for diagnostic tools because I wanted to do the Heidelberg test. I wanted to do all the different gastric tests. I wanted to do, and I did the bile reflux test. A lot of people don't know, they only hear acid reflux, but a lot of people deal with bile reflux. That bile is not supposed to go into the stomach. Like, there's so many tests that are available through Western medicine. And so I chose to use them and we paid out of pocket for many, many, many of them because they're obviously not covered by most insurance. Some insurances will cover some of them, but Most of the testing we did, it just simply wasn't. And so that is where I think Western medicine has been. Now, what's great, you don't need to go for most of your tests anymore. I can order almost every one of those tests now and never have to go near a hospital
Mm.
because these wonderful companies have, all the labs have come out and we're able to order so many of the tests without needing to go through mainstream medicine. And so the prices are much better. And we get to actually look at the results ourselves. We don't have to rely on a diagnostic from a medical doctor. But again, those are wonderful. And quite honestly, emergency medicine, because if you cut off your leg because with your chainsaw and you come to me, I'm putting cayenne pepper on it to stop the bleeding. You better go somewhere else. It's
Yeah.
like I don't do amputations, but so I think there's a time and a place. But yeah, it's a very sick care model. And when I went to Taiwan, my daughter Amy was in Taiwan for a bit, and when I went out there, it's just like I had so much fun because we went to the pharmacy and like you go in and there's all these jars and drawers and they're pulling out chicken's feet and all these herbs and these roots and these barks and they're making these teas. And now we have that in our store. We have a full apothecary. And it was just so people can come. And yes, there's about 17% of pharmaceuticals that I think people can use successfully and helpfully. None of them, well, only a couple of them long term if there's an organ transplant. But I think we need to respect both of the worlds. And we do at Holistic Health Educators, which is our online school. We pride ourselves in merging Western and Eastern medicine. My phone is loaded with medical doctors. Like I have dozens and dozens of them because we work with clients together. Our medical director obviously is a medical director, doctor. I work with medical doctors frequently, but you got to find the ones that have the open minds. And quite honestly, a third of the students at our school around the world, our school is available in 100 languages, are medical. So like here in America, a third of our students are doctors and nurses. Matter of fact, just another medical doctor just graduated and I had to do the practicum. So this medical doctor needed to do a practicum with me. And it was wonderful because she knows so much, right? But there was so much she didn't know. And she was so grateful. It was so cool, Abby, because she was never taught how cells function. She wasn't taught these things. And I do a lot of podcasting and I was on a podcast and the doctor that was interviewing me was just taking note after note after note. And I was like, what is she writing down? And afterwards she's like, Karen, I had no idea that's what the thyroid did. Like, I didn't know that you could heal it at home with two ingredients. She's like, I never knew that. And so I think that a lot of medical doctors are also waking up. I mean, waking up, that sounds so mean, but they're also
Kind of
realizing that
embracing.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They're embracing that there's something besides what they were taught. And trust me, Amy stirred the roost at Johns Hopkins, by the way. Like
I'm
she,
sure.
oh, she did. And people were excited though. Like half her students, especially after COVID, they were they were excited to learn that there were other possibilities. So I think bridging Western and Eastern medicine right now for good is what most people want. They want that.
They want a good combo.
Yeah.
So do you still treat people one-on-one?
I do. I still see clients. I don't take many. I definitely have some.
Okay.
And I love it. It's super fun. Like it's my favorite place is really just working one-on-one, but that's so time consuming.
Of course.
We're running a 69-acre retreat center and we have our online school. And so there's so much else going on. But yeah, I take maybe 6 clients a week. I'll go in
Well,
and
that's
work.
still a lot.
It
That's a
is, it is
lot.
actually a lot. Yeah. I've been trying to cut it down, but the word is out and here we
It's
are.
hard.
We're in Southern Georgia and
Yeah.
I can't say no. And so, but we have a wonderful team here and we're with the retreat center. We have, retreats once a month where we bring in a full crew and we have people come from all over the world and it's really great. But we are actually expanding that right now. So people can come, they can just show up and stay for 3 days or a month and a half. So that's what we're working on right now is getting that open. And so we're just working with the public health department and, things we need to do to get the addition built and make sure
Well,
that
yeah, let's go into the retreat center in general. How did this come to be and what is it and when do people find it and how do people find it?
you're so sweet. This is like all about, I'm here to answer your questions.
I know, but these are my questions.
Oh, fine. So 20 years ago, or 25 years ago, when I started teaching classes, they just loved it, right? And so then I just taught classes for like 10 years. And then I opened up a health because people are like, well, where do I get all these things? And so I said, well, I go to Chicago for this and I go to the Amish community 3 hours north for this. And so I opened up a health food store in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, a little city called Neno. There's like 400 people that live there. Hello, Neno people, if you're watching, but like no one, it's so small.
I
There's
really,
no
if you are
small town.
watching from Neno, please reach out because I would love to
Yes,
know. Yeah.
that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that. And so in Neno, there's more cows than people, obviously. And I opened up this health food store in the middle of nowhere. And we had people drive from 4 hours away. We were the only 100% non-GMO grocery store in Wisconsin. So way before GMOs, people even knew what they were. And so we were organic, we had all non-GMO. And I started teaching classes on the health. And then as I started teaching health classes, people were like, how did you learn all this? And where can I learn that? And I'm like, well, I read this book and this book and this book and studied this. I studied. And so then I literally wrote a book. So
Yes.
this is my fourth edition. It's going to the printers now, but it is how the body works. Like this is the one book. It talks all about that, all the systems of the body, how the body functions, what cells do. You'll just love it. And I have so many graphs in there because I'm a graph fanatic. But I wrote the book, and then people were like, "Well, how can we teach what you teach?" And I'm like, so I put together a program, the Therapeutic Nutritional Counselor Program. We were the first in the world with that, and then we taught 120 modalities of natural healing. That's what I teach my students, 120 different ways. So acupuncture is one, chiropractor is another, but you might work with someone who doesn't want to do either one of those. So we need to do, things like the cricket, right? And that's something you can do if you don't like chiropractors, by the way.
What's the
You can buy,
cricket?
it's like a ball and you can lay on it and roll your spine.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helps to loosen up, and then it'll just naturally crack and open up the vertebrae throughout the spine. So that is something you all could order as well. But anyhow, and so we taught diets from around the world and a lot of information. And then we started, getting a lot of students. And then I started doing retreats, and retreats were awesome. Did 2 or 3, 4 a year. It was so enjoyable. And then I kept telling everybody, I'm going to open a retreat center one day where you can all just come. All the healers can come, and then people who are sick can come. It's for both. And so in 22, I actually was separated from my family. I had left the religion that I had raised my children in, and that wasn't acceptable with some of them, and like some of them, anyhow, very, very, very hard time in my life. So I kind of didn't have a husband anymore, and a bunch of my kids and grandkids, and so I bought an RV. I'm like, okay, I'll go find this place and open a retreat center. You're going to keep me down. And so I bought a 30-foot RV, and you can see it. It's on the front of my Facebook page on ZuZu Unleashed. But I traveled the country in the RV, and I just spoke all around the country, spoke to homeschool groups and gave presentations, and then just prayed the whole time and looking for a place to open up the center. And funny, I went to Georgia first, but then I went all over the country because it wasn't here. And then I ended up back in Georgia in December, and we were hoping to find it by the end of the year. So December 7th, pulled in the driveway, and clear as day, God was like, this is it. So I told my realtor who was with me, one of my best friends, she's amazing. I was like, hey, we're gonna buy it. She's like, you haven't seen it. I said, I know, but we're buying it. This is
Oh
it.
my
And
God.
it was so cool. So yeah, it was really neat. So now here we are. I did spend the last 3 years, we just spent dumping money into the property to get it where we could be using it. So we
Mhm.
turned a set of stables into this really neat wellness center with 9 rooms. It's been great. So we have a lot more expansion to go, and we desperately need help. So if anybody wants to come and like manage the farm and grow whatever they want to grow, like I got the acres and the seeds and the room, just come and help. So
I
it's been
love
great.
that. And so when people come to do a program there, what's the vision for them? Is it mostly food? Is it combination of things?
So we found like the number one takeaway on any retreat I have ever done is the food.
Okay.
I personally don't eat meat. Once in a while, I mean, we have a half a cow in the freezer from my niece, who they have a beautiful organic ranch out there in Arkansas. I should say not organic, but more biodynamic. But anyhow, and so once in a while, I'll take a bite. But we don't during the retreat. They don't eat meat. They have no dairy. They have no sugar. They have no grain. I
Okay,
know
wait,
that
what's the goal of that?
for them to feel energy from food,
Okay.
because most people don't have energy and their bowel movements suck and they have low libido.
Hmm.
And all of that changes when you put life into the body. So living food gives life to the body. Biophotons are the ones that give you energy. Biophotons are particles of light. You aren't going to get them in cooked food. You can't, but you will get them in everything alive or fermented. And so when people go to a diet that is living, and not everything, I mean, we still make millet and quinoa and buckwheat, like those are they call them pseudo grains, but they're not grain at all. They're all seeds. So we do seeds and nuts and vegetables galore and all of that. But it is amazing. People love the food. Like, oh my gosh, people love, 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 love the food. And that is the biggest takeaway. We do amazing things. We have a hyperbaric chamber. You get a massage every day. You do ultrasounds. We do thermal imaging. We have our own labs. We can run your blood work, your urine analysis. We have 36 different things that we do. Hyperbaric chambers, the saunas, lymphatic, oh gosh, we have the EMS zero, which should be in every clinic in America. So like we do acupuncture, we do all of that, moxaburn. And so the biggest takeaway though, is people are like, the food just changed my life. And when they eat it for more than just a meal, when they're eating it 5 days or 8 days or 10 days or 21 days, it just changes their life. And that's probably the biggest takeaway. And then they detox. We do liver and gallbladder flushes if they want. And we do IV therapies and peptides. And we offer things also like on a, build your own retreat or stay. So that's what we do.
And is the goal with the food plan that people take that home and do the same, or is it meant to just be while they're there?
That's a good question. We encourage them to live with that being the 80% of their diet.
Hmm.
I'd have no problem with people eating animals. I'm not a vegan,
Hmm.
but I do have a problem with our food supply,
Hmm. Right. So it's
especially our meat and dairy supply. Yeah.
right.
So I think becoming aware is the most important thing because they feel so good. And we'll serve meat like the last night or two. We'll also have a dish that has meat or some salmon in it. But as like, okay, you made it through the week. Here's because we want them to know you can still do this at home and add a little bit of meat to this, and it's it tastes amazing. So, but we really want people to go home and feel it, and they do. So, just being aware of their food.
Okay. So for anybody who can't come to the retreat center, which by the way, I think we said is called Lily Fields,
It is, yeah.
what are like 2 or 3 things we can do to get this process started? What would you tell specifically women? Because most people who listen to my podcast are women.
Yes. Well, women, you are the strength of the nations,
Yeah.
right? Where you're at, you are strong. We are strong. We are built to be strong. We're built to have kids on our hips and still be planting gardens and making bread and whatever we're designed to do. We've turned that a little bit into work, which is fine, but we can't forget our strengths. And so the number one thing is to not doubt that you can do it. Like, I see so many women that become weak with their thoughts. And if we become weak with our thoughts, then we are taking away our power. So the doubt or you look at someone online and, oh, you can never do that. Like that just needs to be out the door. So if you are still in a victim mindset, this is never going to work. If you're a victim of the medical doctor or the community or food being addiction, whatever it might be, if you have a dis-ease, don't let that become your identity. You don't have to have MS. You definitely don't have to have diabetes. Type 1, even type 2, type 2 is easier. Type 1, our people can get half or a third of their insulin by just making a couple of changes. So just know that it takes a really set mindset to accomplish anything, whether you want to become a president of an organization or if you want to have a best body. I'm 58. I don't have a single hormone issue. I just got all my test results back. My hormones are completely balanced. I don't take anything for hormones. I feel great. I went through perimenopause and menopause. Didn't even know it. Didn't even know it. I had no idea. Years and years ago, didn't have a hot flash. I did nothing because that's how the body is designed to live if you have enough minerals and vitamins in the body. And that's probably the key thing is how do you get enough minerals and vitamins in the body? Minerals are the sparks of life. And so if the thyroid has a problem, it's a mineral deficiency. If the skin has an issue, it's a mineral. Almost every single thing is a mineral deficiency because minerals spark the body with electrons. That's what we learned in school, right? 1 proton is 1 electron, 12 protons is 12 electrons, or give or take more because we obviously have exchange. But what I'm getting to is fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. That becomes your mainstay. It just does. And the more living food than dead food, the more alive you're going to feel. So if you're in a country,
So this is like fermented foods. Give us some examples of living foods.
salads, just grab a pear and eat it. Just grab an apple and eat it. Just eat raw green beans. Lightly steam something. But the less cooking, the better. Now you can still eat your food cooked. Like, don't worry. Like I just pulled out a lasagna. I make a vegetable lasagna. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And there's no cheese and it's absolutely so good. I wish you could all come and eat it. We make it for every one of our retreats. It's so good. So Abby, you're personally invited for lasagna.
Okay, great.
So good. But so that's baked, obviously, and there's spinach and mushrooms and all sorts of yummy stuff in there. but you won't know because I blend it. But anyhow, and so just more living food than dead food. So when you look at your plate, have that big salad and like have some fun with your salad, put pomegranates on there. And the more diverse the vegetables, like if you have 12 vegetables or nuts and seeds on the salad, you're going to actually feel better because every form of fiber feeds your microbiome. You can't break down fiber. The human body can't break down fiber. There's no possible way for us to break down fiber, which is why it goes right through and cleans you out. However, bacteria break down fiber. And so every form of fiber you eat is feeding different microbes in the gut or on the skin, right? Anywhere throughout the body. And so the fiber in your diet is literally feeding these microbes in the intestine. And so be fun. Put kohlrabi on there, put some tomatoes on there, put different sprouts, like anything you can do to liven up your salad. And your salad dressings are so easy to make. Oh my gosh, my favorite salad dressing is literally white wine, a little bit of champagne vinegar or white wine vinegar, organic, of course, and then a little bit of olive oil, or ultimately a half of an orange, just like squeezed on your salad, and a half of a lemon and a little bit of olive oil. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So there's so many simple things you can do. And making salad dressings is extremely easy. Throw a cucumber in there. You just really need a fat and a vinegar. That makes anything. So there's so many ways we can liven up salads. And then, yeah, just I do like in my cookbook, I have all these recipes for like a raw bread. All that is like flax seeds and a bunch of vegetables, a bunch of herbs, and then you dehydrate that. So you've got these really thin little like pieces of bread, but they're just thin pieces of a dehydration. Like they have a lot of flaxseed crackers out there now, and we've
Hmm.
been making flaxseed. We sold those back in whatever 2010, but those just bigger. And now you've got bread. You have these different, like my pizza bread is amazing, right? You can put anything on there and it tastes like a pizza. So just looking for more raw, and a lot of that you can get raw flaxseed crackers. You can get a lot of things that are literally still alive where they're dehydrated, not baked. So just bringing in more raw food than you have right now, and you'll feel that difference. Number one, you'll have a lot more fiber, which will clean you out better, and you're always going to feel better when you're having those bowel movements because we do need 2 or 3 bowel movements every single day. That's the only way you're going to stay clean, regular, most likely cancer free, diabetic free. Like having bowel movements is extremely important.
So there's something, as you were saying this, I'm just thinking so many women that I work with, at least in the fertility space, there's this fine line between eating this way and changing your lifestyle and feeling shame or guilt that it's your fault and you made this happen, right? How
Yeah.
do we, like, where is that line and how do we balance that? It's like, it's between
Yeah.
like empowering women to take over things in their health, but also making them feel like, oh, all of this is my fault, which I want to be on record to say it is not.
It is not. No, 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 no. We are literally eating what our parents ate, and we're eating what our roommates ate at school, and we're just eating what's comfortable, what's to go. Like, I totally get that. But just like with everything in life, your beliefs are based on what you know. Period. You cannot regret that. Matter of fact,
Mhm.
please never regret anything because regret is a horribly low frequency. You are now learning. If right now is the first time you've heard some crazy woman talk about eating more living food than dead food, great. Now you're learning this. Please do your research. Please see what's going on out in our world. I've written books on this is what I do for last 20 some years. It works. And fertility, I have helped. I always say that it sounds so weird. I've helped so many women get pregnant, but that really sounds weird.
Oh yeah,
But
I say it takes a village to get women pregnant. So I,
it does.
yeah.
But so much of it is food. So much of it is food. So much is food and herbs. And the number one thing is bringing more life into that body and more zinc-rich foods and bee pollen and all of, all the juicing and the beets and goji berries and the men, the same thing. I quite honestly, and I believe this, I believe more of the responsibility for women not getting pregnant is now with the men
Hmm.
because they have phones in their pockets, which are killing their sperm, and they put it in their back pocket and they're killing their sperm and they're not eating well. They're eating processed food. And the men, they need maca and goji berries and bee pollen just to get the sperm strong enough to even penetrate that beautiful little egg because you are 1 in a million, aren't you? And so, well, actually, you're 1 in 2 million. But anyhow, so yeah, diet is a huge role. And then please, please, please jump into raspberry tea. Oh my gosh. I have so many amazing stories using herbs to help the body get to a place where that pregnancy can stay. And it just the simple here's a real simple thing, Abby. If I can just share this visual with women, when that egg is released, it's thinking, I'm going to get pregnant, right? I'm going to have a baby. And if that egg comes in and does not have enough nutrients when it's fertilized, we cannot grow a baby. And so we have to, so what is morning sickness? This is simple. Morning sickness is, hey, this egg needs X, A, B, C, elemental P, and it's not here. So we're going to get sick because we are extracting minerals and vitamins from our bones and from our organs to feed the baby. Because all that matters right now is that baby. All that
Mm.
matters, baby. All that matters. You don't care. You don't matter anymore. You just don't. Moms don't matter because that
Welcome to
baby.
motherhood. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. For the rest of your life. But
Yes.
that baby has seed. And that's why that's what matters is the baby. And so you won't have morning sickness when you have an abundance of minerals and vitamins in the body, because that is the number one cause of any kind of morning sickness. And
Mm.
so if we start now by really fertilizing our bodies, our cells, and filling our bodies with vitamins and minerals and herbs that are going to strengthen the cell, and then be available in the extracellular fluid, now that cell is going to have everything it needs to keep growing and dividing, growing and dividing, growing and dividing. So, and I am always sensitive to this because I've had so many women who've had, multiple miscarriages or this, but I tell you, and gluten is a big no-no when you're trying to get pregnant, because gluten is an issue for many, many, many women to not get pregnant. And so just really cleaning up that diet and then bringing in these herbs and these foods that spark life. And I've written, Abby, I should send it to you. I wrote something on infertility for men and one infertility for women. So if you email me, I'll just get
Yeah.
those to you. You can post those. But because
Yeah.
in my book, I have an entire section on fertility,
Mhm.
what men should eat and what women should eat and what you want to avoid, because there's so much you can do at home to get pregnant without
Mm.
having to go through the pain of, artificial work, even though that's phenomenal and we're glad we're having babies. But oh my gosh, if you can just prepare your body even a little bit more at home, because man, you don't want to be on HRT and all that stuff. That can be hard on the body and cancer driven and all that. So whatever you can do to strengthen the body at home, we really do encourage that. And I'm happy to share what I've at least written and studied.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to close out with just one very general question, which is if you could change one thing about how women are taught to think about their bodies, what would it be?
Mm. Oh, that's really beautiful. Um, Having lived with abuse from my first husband and having gone through some really things that are really bad, I think the thing that's not taught enough to our girls is that, God, how I say that, like, we are here for each other, like a community. Finding the women in your life that can be your support system is so important. Like, don't I don't think we should continue to teach our children that social media is it, because that's not it. Those aren't real people. They're lovely and we know some of them, but like finding those, that one or those two people that can just be there for you as a true friend, like really teaching what true friendship is. So when you are going to go through something hard, and you will, every single woman will, who hasn't, we have that unity with someone who knows us well enough. I think there's too much dependency on outside sources for everything, and that's never going to make our kids happy. Getting a new Game Boy or getting a new, car and getting a new job and getting a horse and a dog, none of that. That's going to make you happy. It's never going to bring you joy. But the inside part of us, our soul craves a soul. Our souls are made. We're entangled with each other. You and I are now entangled with each other. Entanglement is very, very, very electric and very real. And if you can find those couple people that bring you joy and are yours, and you don't need to reach out on social media, you just know they're there. I think that's probably the biggest thing that can help, because then when you are in those situations, you can look for joy and not happiness. So I think probably in a nutshell, the number one thing I wish that we could all teach those younger than us, right? And especially our youth, is what is joy?
Mm.
So, because it's so different than happy. And right now, the world is so torn because they have to be happy and they need money for this. And they have to be happy living in a place they can't afford. And they have to be happy with a car they can't make the payment on. That's not joy. And finding joy through knowing who you are and then finding those couple people And it can be your mom, it can be a sister. It doesn't have to be someone outside. But I think that's probably the number one thing that I think we should be taught more because that is what has sustained me. And I have those few really close friends that bring me so much joy.
I love that. Okay, so you don't love social media, which I get, but it can people find you on well, we'll link out to all of your stuff, but do you respond if people find you on social media?
Yeah, I am definitely trying to keep up.
Okay.
So, I would love your help on social media, by the way, because I'm so like, it's not my thing. So I have a Facebook page with like 500 followers right now, right? Or no, 250. I have 500 on Instagram because I'm brand new.
Okay.
I'm brand new
Great.
in here. So ZuZu Unleashed is out there, and I literally, Abby, I have a list. There's one I just checked it. There's 197 videos that I have slated to do on emotional and like fun things. And then I have another 227 on health topics. So like I'm bursting with information to share.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's learning how to get it out there and working with I have a team now. They're amazing, but it's a
It's a lot.
balance.
It's a
Yeah, it
lot.
is. So that's why we're getting there. There's a lot coming. So please don't be
Okay. I can't wait. I can't wait. Thank you so much for being here, Zuzu. I can't wait to share this with people.
Well, thank you. And I'm sorry we didn't get to talk more about perimenopause and menopause and all the things you want. So if you
We
I'll
can, we can. We could we can either do a part two, but I feel like we have
yeah,
to start with who you are and where your story leads you to
yeah.
be able to share this, you know?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I just want other women to know that you're so not alone. You're just
Love
so
it.
not alone. And we are here to support one another. And Abby, I just want to thank you for your platform. I
Oh,
look at
thanks.
the things that you have posted and the women that you work with, and you really care about the people that are watching you. And we feel that. And I just want to really
Thank
reach out and
you.
thank you for all you do because
Thank
you
you
make
for
it
saying
possible
that.
for so many women to find themselves.
You're the best. Thank you for that.
Duet.